Congressman Thomas Massie and President Donald Trump are throwing haymakers as their feud hits a new level of nasty. No question about it. Now, Trump wants Massie kicked out of Congress, and he's going all in on Massie's primary challenger. And you can believe that his primary challenger is going to be pro-Israel puppet who's going to go along with whatever Trump wants. And that's the reason why Trump wants Massie gone. Massie was willing to stand up to Trump, demand the release of the Epstein files and more. Today, Trump wrote on social media, quote, "I predict that Representative Thomas Massie will go down as the worst Republican congressman in the long and fabled history of the United States Congress, even worse than crazy Liz Cheney." Disagree. Crying Adam Kinzinger, I didn't even notice him when he was in Congress, and Marjorie Taylor Brown. This guy is a child. He now hates Marjorie Taylor Greene because she dared to stand up for the policies that Trump ran on and called him out when he reneged on those promises. Okay. They are all misfits and losers, he says. But Massie, who is running against a great American patriot in the Kentucky primary, will hopefully lose big. I love Kentucky. Okay, I'm sure you do. Now, in response, Massie hit back, and it's easy to take jabs at Trump, especially considering the fact that he was front and center in an attempt to cover up the Epstein files. Massie wrote, "I predict President Donald J. Trump will begrudgingly sign my beautiful Epstein Files Transparency Act, causing beleaguered princes and ambassadors and prime ministers and CEOs around the world to be arrested or resign in total shame." Oh, wait, that already happened. So I love that that was his response because he's drawing attention to what he has managed to accomplish as a principled lawmaker. He wanted the files out. He noticed that the Trump administration was engaged in a cover up. And he was relentless in pushing back to get the Epstein files released. And in fact, was willing to work with a progressive Democrat in Congress, Congressman Ro Khanna, in order to make that happen. And I salute him for that. Along with Ro Khanna, by the way, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was part of that before she resigned from Congress. Now, Massie and Trump have also tussled over the so-called big, beautiful bill, because Massie is an actual fiscal conservative. And he's like, whoa, we're doing massive tax cuts while also engaging in a massive amount of spending. This is crazy. He's also fought back against Trump's tariffs, which have helped to destroy our economy, and has pushed back against the war in Iran. Now, ironically, Massie is running campaign ads accusing his primary challenger of not being supportive or loyal enough to Donald Trump, which is amazing. Let's take a look at that.
I'm Thomas Massie, and I approve this message.
Woke Eddie Gallrein and liberal out-of-state special interest groups have run millions in ads trying to tell you how pro-Trump he is. But what they haven't told you is woke Eddie Gallrein abandoned President Trump's Republican Party, a complete dereliction of his MAGA duty. Woke Eddie left the Republican Party right after President Trump won the Republican nomination in May of 2016. Just check his voter registration. That's right, Trump becomes the party leader. The MAGA movement is taking off. Disgusted by what he sees, woke Eddie Gallrein turns his back on Trump and walks away. But it gets even worse. After Eddie Gallrein left Donald Trump's GOP for over 4 years, guess when he finally changed his registration back to the Republican Party? That's right, only after President Trump was no longer in office and Joe Biden had become president in 2021. Woke Eddie Gallrein, not just a Trump hater, a Trump traitor.
I mean, that makes him look a little bit good to me, but it's not going to look good to Republican voters in Kentucky, which is why Thomas Massie went in this direction in his attack ad. I actually think Thomas Massie should put out an attack ad informing the fine people of Kentucky why Trump has been targeting him in the first place, because it's over the Epstein files. And so the person who's a little bit suspicious here is obviously Trump, not Massie, who wanted the Epstein files released. Now, Ed Gallrein is Massie's main primary challenger, and His alleged disloyalty really hasn't stopped Donald Trump from fully supporting him. Because look, at the end of the day, is he going to be a good boy for Israel? Seems like he will. Trump says, the Republican Party's worst congressman ever, Thomas Massie, is attacking great Navy SEAL hero Ed Gallrein, who is running against him in the primary, saying that Ed became an independent for a period of time long ago. The fact is, many people do that, but Ed still supported me, and strongly, which is far more than Massie ever did or does. Massie is promoting what you ran on, Trump, but then reneged on. So like, I get that you don't like to be called out for that, but come on. Anyway, he continues, Ed came back into the party after he saw the strength and wisdom that I displayed. Yeah, I don't think we're seeing a lot of strength and wisdom these days. Okay, you just found yourself in a trap in Iran. Disastrous. But he continues, many people have joined and rejoined our party, but Massie did not because he only votes no. He's actually voted along with Trump's agenda for the most part. He's just true to his principles. He's worried about our debt. I think we should all be a little bit worried about our debt right now. And he doesn't want to do more spending, which is why he had problems with the big, beautiful bill. He doesn't want to get dragged into costly wars. The war in Iran is costing the United States $1 to $2 billion a day. Trump continues, Thomas Massie, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr. because he only votes no, is a complete and total disaster as a congressman and a human being. I will take a principled congressman who I have some agreements with on some issues that are pretty big, like whether it's war, whether it's the release of the Epstein files. I'll take that guy if he's principled over a typical scumbag member of Congress any day of the week.
What's the latest trend in hiring? Skills-based hiring, which actually emphasizes capabilities over education and direct experience. According to experts, this leads to faster hiring and better job performance. Well, if you're an employer who's adopted skills-based hiring, the best way to ensure that your applicants have the right skills is ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter recommends smart screening questions to help you hone in on that perfect match for your role. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/TYT. ZipRecruiter has powerful matching technology to help discover qualified candidates quickly. They also make it easy for you to add their screening questions to your job posts so you get the highest quality applicants. That's what makes ZipRecruiter the #1 rated hiring site based on G2. Let ZipRecruiter help you find amazing candidates with the skills you seek. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/TYT. That's ziprecruiter.com/TYT. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Okay, we have enough cowardly, pathetic weasels in Congress, both on the left and the right side of the political aisle. I want some people who actually believe what they say, who have values, who have principles, who love the country, who put the American people first. And honestly, I've seen a lot more of that from Thomas Massie as opposed to the vast majority of lawmakers in Congress right now. And Ro Khanna, by the way. Ro Khanna's totally crushing it in, being strategic, being willing to engage in bipartisanship when it's going to benefit his side of the political aisle, which the release of the Epstein files benefits all of us. We should all know about what was going on with Epstein and the various relationships he had with foreign countries like Israel. But meanwhile, the Republican Jewish Coalition, RJC, is accusing Massie of cozying up to Iran.
America is at war with a fanatical regime that seeks nuclear weapons. American hero Ed Gallrein stands with President Trump, our country, and our military. Thomas Massie, he stands with Iran and radical leftists in Congress, opposing Trump, just like he did on the border and taxes. Now, Kentuckians have a choice: Gallrein and Trump or Thomas Massie. The RJC Victory Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You know what's amazing about the, he likes a terrorist or a terrorist regime narrative? Like, Trump had an Al-Qaeda terrorist in the White House not too long ago. Al-Qaeda, from what our government tells us, carried out 9/11. So why is there a former Al-Qaeda leader, by the way, in the White House being complimented by our president? I mean, Trump even talked about how hot he is. No. We love terrorists, actually, when they do our bidding. And it's not even our bidding. I mean, it really doesn't benefit the United States to have an Al-Qaeda terrorist in the White House or as the leader of Syria. But we find ourselves in that position today because Israel wanted Bashar al-Assad gone. Bashar al-Assad was an ally of Iran's. And the only thing that matters is what makes Israelis comfortable. So as a result, we are literally supporting a guy who fought our soldiers in Iraq as an Al-Qaeda terrorist. So the Republican Jewish coalition can choke on it, okay? They love terrorists, love them, can't get enough of them. These people make me sick. Anyway, the RJC has dumped about $3 million into Massie's race because they want a pro-Israel puppet in that seat. A super PAC called MAGA KY Kentucky has spent another $2.5 million. And then there are some donors to that PAC, including billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Singer, who gave over $1 million. A PAC tied to Miriam Adelson gave $750,000 to Massie's primary challenger. And then you have hedge fund manager John Paulson, who gave the PAC another $250,000. Yeah, they're not giving this money out of the kindness of their own hearts. We know why they're giving this money. They want Massie out so they can get a compliant person in that seat. So the American people continue being slaves to a foreign country that seems to loathe us, seems to think that our soldiers are, disposable. We can just, send them off to wars and have them fight on behalf of Israel. We need to decouple, like now, like yesterday. They are not an ally. They've only caused harm to our country. And Massie has a history of going against what Trump and Israel first wants. So time will tell if he can pull off this reelection. I hope he does. But either way, Massie seems to think he is on the right path. He told the New York Times, quote, "I feel confident that I've got the constitutional position right. And I'm hopeful that the politics will follow later." Agreed.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.